ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि हृदं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यत्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। अथ गीता ध्यान श्लोकम्। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दाय तपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटजयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहरी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। नारायण नारायण नारायण। Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Today is a very, very auspicious day with a combination of many auspicious events today. First is today's Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. Today is the day when in Dwapar Yuga, in the middle of the battlefield, Bhagwan Krishna, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, gave Bhagavad Gita teachings to Arjun and uplifted him to fight the war and be a winner. And through his medium, he gave the Bhagavad Gita to all of us, the entire mankind, so that we can make positive impact in our life and uplift ourselves while remaining in the human life and move above this life and grow above this life. Secondly, it is also Mokshada Ekadashi today, that which is celebrated as Mokshada Ekadashi. Mokshada Ekadashi means that Ekadashi, by keeping a vow of particular that day, or keeping a fast, or or being in prayer of Bhagwan, it can lead us to getting moksha also. Moksha means liberation also. So it's Mokshada Ekadashi also today. And the third thing which is today as an auspicious event is, today also happens to be Swami Tapovanji's Jayanti. Swami Tapovanji was called Himavat Vibhuti, who was in Uttarkashi, who is Gurudev of our Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji. So he is our Param Guru, we call him. Today happens to be his birth celebration also, Jayanti also today. So I wish all the listeners a very, very happy and auspicious Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, Mokshada Ekadashi, and Swami Tapovanji's Jayanti. May we all be granted the grace and blessings of Bhagwan, Mother Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna, Swami Tapovanji and Bhagwan Narayana, to make a positive impact in life and lead us to the right direction, so that we can contribute to our ultimate growth and ultimate goal in life. Since today is Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, that is the reason why I also chanted Bhagavad Gita Dhyana Shloka as part of our initial prayer for every episode. Now, with that, we will move into verse number 12, where we left the last session. I'll read the verse first. I have already read the Bhashya of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji on that. So I'll read the verse and we'll move into the meaning of this particular verse where we left in the last session. Chapter 3, verse number 12. इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तान प्रदायैभ्यो यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तान प्रदायैभ्यो यो bhunkte eva saha. We were seeing the meaning of this particular verse in the last session. In continuation of Bhagwan, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna's teaching about what should be our correct attitude of offering to the higher altar whatever we do in terms of action and how we should lead our life. It's not our scriptures are not against accumulating or earning wealth or leading a luxurious life. Please don't misconstrue our scriptures like that at all. Our scriptures are not against such living, because luxurious and life, or a life filled with luxury and comfort, is basically part of our prarabdha. Our scripture cannot be against it, but they are saying don't be caught up in that. Understand its correct meaning and correct value. It cannot be the end goal of your life. They are there to give you comfort and luxury so that you can and spend or invest your time and energy into the higher goal of life. Those come into your life as part of prarabdha, but don't get stuck in them. But what you get or what you gain and or what you earn in life, generate the habit or develop the habit of giving to the higher altar from what you gain, what you accumulate and what you earn, so that their blessings flow to you and you prosper together. We all prosper together. So Bhagavan is saying, which we saw in the last session also, Devaha Yajna Bhavitaha. When we give up our own personal resolves, our own personal selfish interests, and giving up our selfish ego and our own selfish desires, when we give up and with humility, with an attitude of service, when we start working or start looking up to what they want from us, they means the higher beings, higher deities. And I told you, when I say higher beings or higher deities or devatulya, you should always take the broader meaning of that word, which includes our elders and all those people from whom we gain, from all those people, all those saints, sages or higher people from whom we gain in life. We must give certain things to them, so that we end up giving them, and they, with the happiness of we parting with our share to them, they bless us with much more in magnitude and multitude. So that is what we were seeing in the last session. And here Bhagavan is using one word: those people who do not give from what they get, from what they earn, they are hesitant to part with that, or give it to the higher devtas or our elders or such things. They what is their real level in life? Bhagavan is saying, bhunktes tena evasa. Those people are, Bhagavan is coining them as, they are nothing but thieves in the society. They are thieves living in this society, who end up only using whatever they earn, whatever they gain for themselves alone, without giving in the share, some portion of the share, to the higher deities, or our people who are elder to us, as those people from whom we have gained. They are nothing but they should be called as thieves only. There are many such beings here in this creation. So we all should look at ourselves, where whether we are using everything what we gain for our own selfish interest alone, or are we really sharing some portion of that for greater good and greater cause also, for for those from whom we are gaining, and we are gaining in such a way which cannot be put into any price at all. We are gaining priceless things from certain beings. So that was meaning we saw. uh, One thing which came into our mind, on which note I left the last session, was that, does it mean that I should not be sharing what is in my mind ever? I should only be a receiver, and only should obey what others or elders are telling me, and suppress my desires? No, that's not what Bhagavad Gita is wanting to tell you. When there is a combined discussion, when there is a group discussion, when we sit with elders and they are sharing their thoughts, in such a session we must put forward what we think as our thoughts are. We must put forward our desires also. We must share our thoughts with them. But when we share our thoughts with them, when we share our desires with them, when we share our interest with them, at that time we should have a firm understanding within us that, that whatever is my thought I'm sharing with them, but I do not have even a wee bit desire that whatever I'm sharing should be accepted. And I gave you one example of Puja Guruji, when he told he used to share things with Puja Gurudev, and every time it used to get accepted. One time Gurudev, when he said no to it, that's when Puja Guruji said, that's the greatness of great masters, that they are able to share such things. He said that at that time I was very disturbed, that how did my thought, or my what I wanted to do, or what I shared with them, what I proposed, got rejected. Then he said, I went for a walk. That's when I realized, who is the master here? Are you the master, or is he the master? So how can your desire take an upper stand than what his desire is? He said, the moment this thought came in, by grace of God, immediately that disturbance of mind got completely eradicated, and my mind became quiet, and I understood that what Puja Gurudev is saying, there is a greater teaching in that. Many a times I'll tell you, when Guru shares this thing, and it's my personal experience also, many a times when a guru shares his thoughts, or shares with us that do this or do something, there are very high likability that we may not understand what he's wanting to say. And since we do not understand, because our level is not that much, sometimes we may say, isn't he saying wrong? I think what I was thinking was correct. Actually, that is our, that shows our level, that we have not reached a good level at all. And Guru is so great. He sees in his disciple, in his student, that they have desire to put their thought, or their, interest, or what they want as a resolve on top of us, and they have insisted in that. Now remember one thing, Guru does not mind that at all. Guru forgives them and moves on. But most of the people with whom such things have happened, they have shared with me in the past also, that many years later they understood what Guru said that day was correct. Why? Please remember, Guru has no desire to push you to do what he wants you to do, or he does not have a personal resolve, so to say, to make it happen through you. His interest is not to push you to the corner and make you do what he wants to do. It's not that it is personal desire he wants to fulfill through you. Please do not understand that at all. One example I'll give you is in Srimad Bhagavat and our Puranas also. This story comes about Maharshi Durvasa ji. You must have heard it in Mahabharata also. It's there. Every time any story of his comes, any event or anything which comes, incident related to him, most of the time we must misunderstand that he's an angry young man, that with his anger he goes and curses left, right and center. He cursed Indra also, he cursed so and so and all. Even Pandavas got scared when Durvasa ji came and said, I want to eat, prepare food, and we are coming in few minutes. Pandavas got scared that will we get cursed or something or not. But that's an impression which we form. But my Puja Guruji explained this aspect so well. Even when a person becomes a realized master, please understand, when we use this word called realized master means what? Realized master does not have any kind of personal desire at all, any kind of personal resolve at all, any kind of personal ego to get fulfilled from someone. His advice is not to tick off the ego he has. He has already given up everything. Through him, God only manifests, and God only, conveys his things to the people. So when we hear about the story of Maharshi Durvasa also, please understand, it's not that Maharshi Durvasa was interested in cursing people left, right, and center. No, there are bigger, what you call that, intent of supreme consciousness and Bhagwan, which is actually conveyed through realized masters. So remember one thing, that's what happens with Guru. And any Guru you take up the story of them, we have heard so many about that. Even Puja Gurudev used to talk about Swami Tapovanji so much. He said that Swami Tapovanji, I always used to see him as what Upanishads is declaring is seen in him, in his personality. That's how he used to see Swami Tapovanji. He said, what should I talk about him? There is nothing I can explain about him. Whatever you read in Upanishad is completely displayed through him, by him. And we can see, what do you call that, a reflection of a realized master, how a realized master will be. Why? Because they've already given up everything. That is why they are called renunciates. They've already renounced everything. And when they start working for God day in and day out, when they start working for God, remember one thing, through every act of them, God only expresses through them. And remember, when we come across of the grace and blessings of a divine master, please remember that that's a message of God to us, that I am here to take care of you, and I have made this master a medium to take care of you. Please remember, you have nothing to worry. You are taken care of completely. You don't have to look back. You do not have to worry about anything in life. Start having the trust, start having the faith that you are protected. That is how a guru shishya relationship comes into. And on this day, because it's such an auspicious day, I really, with wet eyes, I remember my puja guruji, what I got from him. I have really done nothing in life to gain the closeness, grace, and blessing of my guru, but what I gained from him is, I don't think in many lives together I can pay that back to him. Whatever I am doing towards my guru and my supreme guru, or the Jagat Guru Bhagwan Krishna, is a very minuscule portion of what they are doing for me, or and what they have done for me. I am only a very, very small kind of a servant at their lotus feet, trying to do things. And I know there may be many shortcomings which are there, but it's their compassion and mercy that they're still protecting me, they're still taking care of me, and they're still giving grace and blessings on me, showering their grace and blessings on me. And that's the brilliance of great masters and Bhagwan Krishna. We are jivas, we end up doing so many mistakes, but Bhagwan is Bhagwan, Guru is Guru. They keep on overlooking them because they understand that we are walking on the correct path, and they keep doing course correction for us, so that we don't waver from the path, we don't move outside the path. So this thing should be firm in our mind, that yes, I will keep my thoughts in front of the elders, and even in front of God also, but not with insistence that it has to be fulfilled. It is my desire, Bhagwan, you have everything, I know you can do it, you should do it. Don't force God, or don't force elders to fulfill your thing. That's not the correct way, as explained in Srimad Bhagavad Gita here. The thing is, do put your thoughts. Remember, they are thinking about you more than you are thinking about you. See, that's the brilliance also I want to point out here. I'm telling you honestly, we are jivas. How can we think and holistically look at our life and ensure that we are protected 365 days a year, 24 hours a day? We do not have that ability to do it. But remember, Bhagwan, even when we are sleeping, our Guru and Bhagwan, even when we are sleeping, they are thinking about us. More than us, they are worried about us. That's the brilliance of this relationship called, a devotee and Bhagwan, and a what do you call that, a disciple and a guru. You cannot think that, many a times you may feel guru is so busy, but trust me, all those students and disciple who have surrendered to a guru, remember one thing, they are always present in the thought of a guru. And I'm telling you, I've felt it. I can share one incident which I suddenly remember now. I was going to visit my guru, and it was a 250-kilometer distance to travel. So I started a little late, and it was in Himachal Pradesh. It was in Himalayas. So I left a little late, and somebody gave me the driver to take me to that place. So I left at around 8:39 p.m. So there is no way I could have traveled that distance in before midnight and post midnight. So by the I had a lot of difficulties on the way that time. And when I reached my guru, and I reached him around 2:30 a.m. I still remember it very deeply. Why? Because this incident really touched me. I reached at 2:30 a.m. and I see that my guru is awake. I thought I will be able to meet him only the next day, but my guru was awake. So, I thought, let me just pay obeisance to him, let me just prostrate unto him if he's awake, and then I'll go back and rest in my room. When I entered his room, he suddenly looked at me and said, Anish, you reached? You had a lot of difficulties, no? I never even told him that I'm coming. I wanted to just pay him a visit without even telling him. And here it is that he already knows I am on the way. And he's waiting for me. And he, blesses me, hugs me, and says, you had a lot of difficulty, I know, but I'm glad you reached. Now you go to your room, protect yourself from winters and all. Sleep well, we'll meet tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, I felt so amazing that all the tiredness of this travel completely got swept away. I slept so well, and that time I spent with him, it was such a divine time. I even now when I think of it, I have tears in my eyes. Why? Because it's impossible to know how a guru functions, how Bhagwan functions. Now just think, you go somewhere and just imagine God is walking with you every now and then, and He is thinking and worried about you more than you are. He is protecting you more than you even can think of. So many a times we think that oh, our elders or God may not have heard what I wanted. Maybe that they must have overlooked it or something. But that's not true at all. Remember, they are thinking more of us more than we are thinking of ourselves. That's why when we put our resolves and thoughts in front of them, we can put, because that's how we share with them. We have that harmony with them, we have that closeness with them, that if I keep hiding my thoughts, where am I close to him? I fear from him, right? There is no need for that. If we love them, we respect them, we can muster the courage to share, even if we think that what I'm trying to share is stupid. When when we share with our guru, there are many times I remember I've shared really stupidest thing on the earth to my guru, but there is not even once he has scolded me or he has said what are you doing and all. He's always given his hearing ear to me, and always embraced me with love and kindness and compassion. That mercy is unsurpassable. I am here even wherever I am only because of the grace and blessings of Bhagavan Krishna and my Guru. And I'm telling you, even though my Guru is Brahmlin, but I still feel him around me all the time. He's literally guiding me with a light of his knowledge to go to the correct path. And trust me, both Bhagwan and Guru works in such a way that they will not let you stray away. They will not let you get destroyed at all. Name bhakta pranashyati. It's Bhagwan's promise also. And that's the same thing which happens with Guru also. So when we put our thought in front of them, we should not have even a wee bit desire to put our thought first or our resolve first, and push them to agree to that. That should not be there. We should, when we keep our thought, we should keep this thought in our mind. When we share our thoughts or share our ideas with them, we should keep this thought in our mind, whether they accept it or they reject it or they change it, or whether they partly accept it or partly remove it. We must have the courage, we must have the ability to accept that, and we should know that it is not my arena at all. My purpose and my act was only to share it with them. Acceptance, rejection or something is their prerogative. I have nothing to do with it. When we work with such a kind of a yajna bhavana, the spirit of yajna, and this is shown in our attitude and our actions every now and then, that is when this word becomes true for us. Yajna bhavitaha. That is when those people whom we respect and we have humility towards, and we try to accept theirs over our own resolves, remember, that is when they feel contented and happy with our acts. And at that time, in their intellect, love is generated for us, love grows for us, love deepens for us, and they start to have compassion towards us. And and they, it automatically strikes them, every now and then, that they must do something good for us, they must do something big for us. That thought starts to arise in them, and many a times we may not even know this at all, but they must be planning something big as a surprise for us. And that's true, I'm telling you. I know about my guru, how he has given me, so I can vouch for it in a very minuscule way, because I'm very small. Not that I'm too experienced, and my guru was too big. He was too, I would say, what to say, awesome, beyond the brilliance I could even explain, and what he has done. And many a times he was thinking for us, and when we call, he's already have an answer without even we sharing what we want to do. If this spirit of yajna starts to happen in us, remember, if this spirit of yajna starts to happen in us, then remember this thing, we are already well protected, well supported in our life, so to say. If this spirit of yajna does not happen in us, and in all our acts, this spirit of yajna is not visible at all, and it is seen on the contrary to that, most of the times we put our ego in the front, then tell me, why will somebody think of us? Why will somebody want to do anything for us? Why will anybody do anything for us? Just think of that. You know, if we have those things displayed in us, remember one thing, they will think of us. But if this is our attitude, which I just said, then remember, nobody is going to think of us. We only will have to end up doing everything for us. We only will have to think of us. We only will have to see our way. We only have to manage everything in towards us. And the problem with this kind of a life is our means and sources are limited. The second thing is that what we want to achieve in life, that is not within in my area of right at all. I don't have any right on them, right? Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu. The fruit of action which I desire is not in my control at all. Is it not in my right at all? It's not in my span of control at all. And maximum what we can do is that we will strive for it, and we want to put into practice as this thing. But we may, I would say, most of the time we may not end up actually succeeding in our effort. That is what we need to remember. at the maximum, we have the freedom of action. We have the right to act, and we want to make a trial, that we want to try that I will gain whatever I want. Now, we need to understand that that is not in my ambit of control at all. In our mind, it should be established that, you know through my acts, through my actions, and especially through my intents, and our deities or our people who are elder to us, they should become yajna bhavita. They should start to feel contented with it. They should start to feel fulfilled and happy with it. And for that, so that they start to develop closeness with us. When we act with such an attitude, that when we start to act with an attitude of making them yajna bhavitah, at that time, in their intellect, in their thought, they start to develop closeness towards us. They start to feel close towards us. They start to develop love towards us. Devaha yajna bhavitaha dasyante. Bhagwan says, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says, and when they start to have that feeling, remember, they will for sure start giving you. They will for sure come forward to start giving it to you. And for that, uh, for receiving that thing, here Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna is giving you a guarantee. And what are they going to give you? Ishtan Bhogan, that which is dear to us, that which we like, that which we feel we want, our desires and all, they start to work towards fulfilling them for us. Whatever is our ishta means what is dear to us. Remember, those things which we are looking forward to, those things which are favorable for me in life, they, all those things, these devatas, these people start to give it to us. And remember, when they start giving it to us, it is at both levels, at the worldly level also, at the level of out of world also. Out of world means at the level of other lokas also. We call it parlokik. Parlokik means out of this entire world. Those things which are worldly also, and those things which are out of the world also, or from different lokas also, from a different realm also, they start giving it to us. They start fulfilling our needs, so to say. The only thing which they require, the only promise and the only condition they have is that the devatas, or those who are elder to us, they will give only when they are happy with our yajna bhavana, our yajna spirit. When they are happy with that, they will give only when they become happy with our way of giving it to them. So first responsibility is who? Responsibility lies on us to give it to them first. Yajna bhavitaha devaha ishtan bhogan dasyante vaha. And remember, those devatas who feel happy with your giving, with your offering, with your service, they start to give things which you like, which are dear to you, which are of interest to you, which are favorable for you in life. They start to give it to you for sure, and they will surely fulfill that thing. They will surely give it to you. And in this subject, in this matter, you do not have to worry or have any kind of a doubt at all. This is a norm, this is a law, this is a principle which Supreme Consciousness has kept up in this whole creation. And this entire creation is functioning according to that. So, Devatas are, I can use the word comfortably here. When we give, they are bound to give us, because that's their role, that they should, that is what it's their duty to give. Let me just say it that way. We do our duty, they will do their duty. Let me just tell you one more example here. When we fulfill our duties towards our parents or even our children, trust me, if we have done our duty well, those towards whom we have done our duty, they cannot ever come to a level of not doing their duty. That's the thing which we need to understand. Now, I'm just giving you an example. Some say that, I, as a parent, took care of my children very well. I did my duty very well, but my children are not doing that. Trust me, some other, through somebody else, God will give you back what you have given. That's the word we need to understand. It If it doesn't come from them towards whom you have done the duty, from somebody else, God will make sure it comes to you. But remember one thing, whatever you have given, the law of this creation is it has to come back to you. Now you can take that term on both ways, whether for good also, for bad also. If you have done bad to someone else, trust me, be prepared, it is surely going to come back to you. Remember this thing, this word which I said in the initial episodes of our podcast, that the world is round. World is round means whatever starts from you has to come back to you. It is not possible it doesn't come back to you. So if that is the norm, what that is the law of this creation, then why don't we do good acts? Let If we do good, good is surely going to come to you. That's the guarantee which Supreme Consciousness, Bhagavan Krishna, is giving here to us. This is a law, this is the principle of this creation. But what is your role in this whole thing? That what you are supposed to do, what is your duty, do it very well. You know, those who, our well wishers, are all people who are other than us. Actually speaking, I'm telling you, those people who think of us are always other than us. And there are a lot of well wishers in this creation for us who are thinking in for us. And there are many in this creation who are thinking of good for us, by the way. Some we may know, some we may not, many we may not know. But there are people who are thinking of us, and that's how God makes sure that what you give comes back to you. That's so, be honest to yourself. That is what we need to understand here, that if I have done something, remember, none of your act will ever go waste. That is what Bhagavan Krishna is saying very loud and clear. And remember, if you do good, it will come back to you in a good form, in much more magnitude. But if you do bad, that is the same thing which applies there also. It will come back to you in a big magnitude, back to you with interest. So be prepared for it. Also the fact is, we may end up worrying for our future, but all that worry is actually bad only, because in that worry, we end up losing on what our freedom is on, our choice is on, and we end up losing the action and on that particular front. And you can continue to worry, it's not going to lead you anywhere. So those people whose what they think of us is going to happen, they're all going to be elder than us, they're all going to be higher than us. So rather than we worrying for that, we should focus on our duties and do that well. Let those who, towards whom we are doing, let them worry about us. It is not our prerogative at all. That is what we need to understand as the reality of life. Also, the fact is that we thinking too much about us is also a waste of time. Those whose thoughts are going to materialize for us or are going to really work for us, they are all our elders only. Because I told you, everything what we get in our life is going to come from someone else. So that thing we should never ever forget. You know, and for them to think of our well-being and think of our good, the only basis of that will be our behavior today, our actions today, our efforts put in the right direction today, and what hard work we put into things around in our life and our actions. Whatever hard work we put, that all becomes the basis for them to think for us. The thing is, actually man is an intelligent being, because of which it's natural that our mind keeps running towards thinking about our future quite a lot, by the way, always thinking about our future. But the thing what from here we need to understand is that too much thinking of the future or too much planning for the future should stop, we should stop that act immediately, because there is nothing which is going to happen with that. Even if we make plans for us, it's not necessary that things may work out like that. It's not necessary that things will happen like that. Remember one thing, those things only will happen for us in our life which actually our elders or those beings or deities who are higher than us are thinking of us. The problem with us is that what is in our ambit of control or ambit of freedom, ambit of choice, we don't want to do anything about that. And those things which are not in our hands, actually for that we continuously try to make mental palaces about that. That will come, this will happen. Man, I can imagine myself in a huge house with a huge swanky car with so much luxury around, but that's all not in your or right at all in your ambit of control at all. But we keep on making these mental palaces about that. Nanak Dev Ji, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji used to say, जो प्रभु कीना सो भल मान्यो, एक सुमति संतन ते पाई, बिसर गई सब तात पराई. Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says here, what should you do when you receive from Devtas, from your elders, when you receive things which are of your liking, when you get, means luxury, comfort, and those things when you get in your life, remember at that time, a new duty of mine is, a new responsibility of mine is, whatever I have got from them, whatever I have got in my life, whatever I've gained in my life, from that, a small portion I should take it out. This thing you need to remember. I am marking my words, so please listen to this very carefully. Bhagwan says, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says, Taihi dattan ishtan bhogan. First, what will happen is, with our spirit of yajna, those who are higher, elder to us, those or deities who are higher than us, they will become happy with our yajna bhavana, with the spirit of yajna, and then they will start giving in bhoga, things of enjoyment to us, things of experience to us, luxury, comfort, need, whichever way you can call it. Now, there is a new direction, new angle which Bhagwan is showing here. Bhagwan is trying to tell us this thing also you need to understand. When bhoga or things of enjoyment, things of luxury, things of comfort or wealth starts to flow into our life, when we start having, happiness driving things around us, at that time we must remember one thing, and please underline this word, that all that I have gained is not something which I have earned on my own. Rather, these are things which have been given to me by deities, given to me by my elders, by my seniors. This is a vision we should have towards everything we gain in life or we get in life. Everything of enjoyment, luxury, and comfort we get in life. This is the vision we should have. This is a clear, correct vision we should have towards those things which we gain in life. Now, here Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says, Apradayebhyah yo bhungte stena eva saha. Those people who whatever they gain in life, whatever they get in life, whatever they receive in life, whatever they accumulate or earn in life, do not take out a portion from that and give it back to deities, give it back to higher seniors or elders. Remember, and end up consuming all that for their own selfish personal interest, for own selfish enjoyment. Remember, meaning what? Those who forget to give it back, a portion of that what they have got, to the devatas or deities, remember, all those people will be coined with a term called thieves. And what do we do with thieves? when somebody steals property of someone else, they should be punished, right? So here Bhagwan says, I am very loudly and clearly telling you, all those people, when they get and gain in life, end up using all that for their own consumption, own enjoyment, without giving anything back to those from whom they have gained. Remember one thing, they are all should be called as thieves. Sahastena eva. Such a person, you can, in society can call him with whatever way, but Bhagwan is saying he can be called with whatever name in the society, can be given whatever designation in the society, can be given whatever position in the society, but Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says, in my sight, in my eyes, he is nothing or no one but a thief alone. Why? Because they have got from them, and from whom they have got, without taking a portion out of that, or as a service towards them, as a dedication towards them, as a devotion towards them, and when they end up consuming all that, this is what they need to be called as, because we have got from them. And it is utmost important, and it is a must for all of us, that we must take out a portion of that for serving them. That is very, very important. Those people who do not end up taking out a portion of that to give it back to deities or to serve them back, remember, what is that they will end up doing with that? If they do not take out that portion for giving the deities, what are they doing with that portion also? They are only and only trying to drown and revel in them so much that they get lost in that completely, and they end up only doing one thing. What? Fulfilling their bodily needs alone, without recognizing that they are not limited to this body. They have this body as a tool to function in this life, but they are definitely not limited to this body alone. And if they are not taking out a portion of that to give it back to deities, they end up completely drowning in their luxury and comfort so much, and end up only fulfilling in the needs, their bodily needs, and only making their body happy. And that is what Bhagwan says, that is the way to look at a selfish kind of a life, and that is what we call as a person with a completely selfish person. On the contrary to that, there is a person we see who do enjoy luxury and comfort in life, but before even doing that, he or she first takes out a portion from that, whatever he has gained, and gives it back to deities, or gives it back as a service towards the higher. Remember, in his or her mind, the yajna bhavana, the spirit of yajna, is there before the action also, and the spirit of yajna is there after the action also. These things of our liking and desire, whatever we have got in our life, is nothing but a loan on us. Somebody has lent it to us, and that is why it is utmost important for us that one portion of this we must give it back, and whatever is left out of that after giving up that portion, that becomes what? That becomes a amrit. It becomes a nectar for us also. Remember, what do you mean by it becomes a nectar? That Bhagwan Krishna himself is explaining in the next verse, that we will see in the next verse when we read the next verse. So before I go into the next verse, verse number 13, I'll read Puja Gurudev's commentary on this verse number 12. Puja Gurudev says, here Krishna repeats the unalertable ritualistic law that the devas, cherished by the yajna, will provide us with the desired objects. The truth of this statement becomes self-evident and clear when we reread this statement, substituting our meaning for the terms deva and yajna. The productive potential deva, when cherished through self-dedicated work performed in a spirit of sacrifice, yajna, will provide the worker with the desired objects. This is the law of life. And when we thus earn a profit due to our sacrifices, we have every right to enjoy that profit, sharing among ourselves. But no living creature should enjoy benefit of others' actions without contributing his own share to the total effort. In the capitalistic system of life, we notice the wrong tendency of self aggrandizement of profits produced out of the collective efforts of millions of workers. This ultimately creates sad maladjustments in all spheres of activity, and national and international peace is threatened when we thus upset the law of harmony in life. When this idea, familiar in modern finance, that a member of a society who consumes without producing is a liability to the nation, is reread in the language of the Vedas, it is spelt as the second line of this stanza. He who enjoys objects given by the Devas, the productive potential tapped without offering his own yajna efforts into it, is termed here by Krishna as a social thief. Considering the moral and ethical idealism recognized and respected at the time of the Gita, the term thief used here is indeed a powerful word, fully implying the low depravity and disrespectful nature of such a social criminal who eats without producing. That's how Puja Gurudev has mentioned on this in his commentary for this particular verse. Now we will move on to the next verse, verse number 13. We'll read the verse first, then I'll read Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, and then we'll take up the meaning for this particular verse. So in the next verse, verse number 13, Bhagwan is raising his strong objection for people who are leading a life of not contributing from where they have got and only utilizing whatever they're earned for their own selfish interest. So Bhagwan is putting some strong words in the next verse. So let's read the verse number 13 of this chapter 3. Verse number 13. यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. Let's read Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya also on this particular verse. Devayajnadin nirvartya tachishtham ashnam amritakyam ashitum sheelam yesham te yajna shishtashinah santah muchyante sarvakilbishaihi sarvapapaihi chulyadi panchasuna kritaihi pramadakೃತ हिंसादि जनितैः च अन्यैः ये तु आत्मं भरयो भुञ्जते ते तु अघं पापं स्वयं अपि पापाये पचन्ति पाकं निर्वर्तयन्ति आत्मकारणात् आत्महेतोः. So Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna in this verse is trying to bring out, in continuation to the last verse, the righteous ones. He's giving comparison of two different set of people here. One who is doing in the action and who is offering back in the correct way, and the one who without offering is using everything he's gained for his or her own consumption. Bhagwan is trying to bring a simile of both of them. What happens to both of them? Because we need, see, many of us, we need to understand, we understand things when the result is presented to us. What happens when we do this? So, many children also, when parents say, don't do this, so they may come back and ask you, what happens if I do this? Tell me. No, if I do this, what will happen to me? So many times, to explain the gravity of the situation, we have to explain from what result they are going to gain by doing that. If you do this, this is what is going to happen. So Bhagwan is trying to do the same thing here. What happens? He's comparing two people here. One who is consuming things which he have gained, who is using things which he have gained in life, but with the attitude of offering a portion of that back to them, and then consuming the remaining. And the second person Bhagwan is trying to bring out here is those who are, whatever they are gaining, consuming only for themselves and their own selfish interest, only fulfilling their own body. What happens to both of to that those people also? So Bhagwan says, the righteous ones, the people who are doing the correct action, who eat the remnants of the sacrifices, are freed from all sins. Sarva kilbishai muchyante. And but those sinful ones, bhunjate te tvagam papa, ye pachante atma karanat. But those sinful ones who cook food only for their own sake, verily eat but sin alone. They are eating in sin alone. They are not going to go anywhere. They are making sure that they are going to be drowned in the world again and again, again and again. So Bhagwan, he's trying to bring out the simile of both these kind of people in this particular one. So he's giving an example of both the people here. One is bhungte apradayebhya. So let's take the second one first. Those who consume whatever they gain in life without offering to those whom they are supposed to offer a portion of that, and they end up consuming everything they gain, consuming or accumulating everything they gain for only them alone. That is the first kind of person Bhagwan is trying to bring out here. The second is who do not do this act at all, means their spirit of yajna or the yajna bhavana is present all the time, is present in all periods of time, and it is present everywhere in every action and every act they do. So I call it this way. Our Puja Guruji used to call it this way. It is sarvakalik and it is sarvadeshik. Sarvakalik means it's present in all periods of time. It's not that they go off and on with yajna bhavana. Some things they do with yajna bhavana, some things they do not. No, it's not like that. Or they start the action with the spirit of yajna, but when the result comes, they forget that. It's not like that. It is there present in all periods of time. It's present all the time. And sarvadeshik means it is present in every action they do. So means what? They are constantly doing with the attitude of swaha, and their life is pervaded with that thought. Their life is pervaded with this kind of a feeling, this kind of a offering, that they are doing everything as swaha. Okay, so that is one thing here Bhagwan is talking about. Whatever things they gain in life to enjoy, whether it is wealth or things, remember, this person, the first one, means the one with Bhagwan has explained first, and I have explained here the second one. Those who give first and then consume the remaining, meaning whatever they have got in their life, whether luxury, comfort, wealth, or whatever, he considers that they are all granted to him, given to him, donated to him by the devtas, and he considers that as a means to reach higher, means to serve them back. When he or she gains something in life, remember, he considers that as being given by the devtas, and however good that thing is, he tries to do, when he get better things in life, he tries to do better seva, and he considers that as means to actually fulfill his duty towards them. He considers that as being given to him, granted to him, donated to him, presented to him, for effectively fulfilling his duties towards them. Remember, as a tool to grow, wealth is more than welcome. But as a thing to enjoy and drown and fall down, definitely wealth is not good for us at all. So wealth we need to understand and correctly also. So one question which may come in our mind is that, is Sanatan scriptures against gaining wealth or accumulating wealth? So what is that scripture is wanting to tell us? That uh, is scripture telling us that is guiding us against having wealth? Is it guiding us not to strive for gaining wealth? you know is it trying to tell us that remain contented and fulfilled in whatever we have, and don't be too happy with too much wealth in your life? Is that what scripture is trying to tell us? That is what we need to think. Is our scriptures telling us don't be too much don't have too much expectations in your life? Is it guiding us to be against that? Is scriptures telling us that expectations in life is not good for us? Importance of certain things in life is not good for us. Is scriptures telling us that if we have importance for certain things in life, then we are not going to grow at all? Is that what scripture is trying to tell us? No, that's not what it is. Then scripture is trying to tell us that you should serve them and understand there is an importance of wealth also, but there is wealth should be importance of wealth should be at its correct place also. How do we match these two statements, that we should have wealth also, but we should not have too much focus on wealth also? We should definitely plan for wealth also, but we should not get too much drowning in wealth also. How do we match these two statements? And remember one thing: a man is contented and satisfied only when, and there are expectations in life. That is what drives a man to perform, right? If I do not have higher expectations in life, higher desires in life, why will I even work hard, right? Now the one thing which strike our mind is that we may end up thinking that probably our scriptures are against desires, or our scriptures are against having big plans in life, against being having higher plans in life, or higher achievements in life, is against higher achievements in life. That is what we may end up thinking. We may end up thinking that scripture does not give too much heed towards these things at all. But when we sit down and think over it, we will understand that scriptures, our scriptures, Sanatan this Dharma scriptures, definitely allow us to have wealth in life. It's not that scripture is against it. Our scripture is not against having expectations in life, not against having higher plans in life, higher needs in life, higher expectations in life. It's not against fulfillment of those higher desire at all. It's not against having a wealthy life at all. It is not against having a, what you call that, contented life at all. Is not against having a rich life at all. It's not against that at all. But the only thing it tries to say is that when we end up walking or leading our life according to the guidance of our scripture, according to what scripture wants to tell us, remember that thing, then these things will become a blessing for us. But if we do not have gained the right culture, then remember, wealth also becomes a curse for those. I'm telling you, sometimes it is seen as a real life example also. Some parents have struggled hard to accumulate wealth for their kids. But what has that wealth done? They have only spoiled those kids. It's not done any good to those kids at all. So that is what we need to understand. And in one thing I want to bring out through this is that if our entire country, if you look at our entire country, in the olden times, our entire country used to lead a life guided by the scriptures, advised by the scriptures. And that is one of the reason why India used to be called as a golden bird. Sone ki chidiya they used to call it. It's not that our country was very poor. We had very poor strata people. No, our people were very wealthy at those times when we used to follow the culture correctly. Had our country been poor, just think of it for a while. Had our country been poor, do you ever think the Mughals or anyone or even Britishers would have invaded our country? They invaded because we were wealthy and they wanted to take our wealth away. Poor countries, nobody invades. That the fact that we had so many invasions, talks about that how wealthy India was. Our country was very wealthy at the time when, and these invaders invade our country, whether we call it Britishers or whether we call it Mughals or whichever way you call it. Our country has seen a golden era at those times. Why? Because the entire country, everybody used to follow the guidance of the scriptures and used to lead a life if as advised by the scriptures. They used to follow the scriptural values in life. Because of that, at oh, our country was had seen a golden era. Just think, our country, for our countrymen following the guidance and injunctions of the scriptures and advice of the scriptures was never ever made that our country was poor at all. Our country was never poor. It was never ever poor at all. Following the scriptural injunctions, scriptural teachings, and scriptural advice, our country was very, very wealthy and rich. And this is proven in our history, that if you read the history correctly, not the way it is taught in schools these days by glorifying Mughals and Britishers and all. I do not know who ruined. Actually, they only must have ruined our education system, so to say. It is never proved in the history that by countrymen following our scriptural teachings and advice, our country has ever gone through poor times. Our country was always rich. If you read the history, you will understand. When I say history, I'm talking about Mahabharata and Ramayana. Maharaj Dashrath, or King Janak, they were not poor. Rather, they were very, very filthy rich, so to say. They had all the luxuries and comforts in life. And if you really read through their life, they had a very, very dharmic life. They used to follow scriptural teachings so much. They were all spiritual people. By being spiritual, they never ended up being poor, beggars, or anything. They were filthy rich. Their kingdom was very, very rich. I'm talking about whether Maharaja Dashrath or Raja Janak. If you read their stories in Ramayana, you will understand they were at the pinnacle of wealth at that time. But in spite of being at the pinnacle of wealth, they were completely spiritual. They have their gurus who were in the as part of their session, their what do you call that, their session, and used to have gurus as part of the thing, their kingdom. Whenever the session used to sit, gurus had a important and prominent place in their palace. As their sessions which they used to lead, they used to have a prominent place there, and they used to fall back upon guru for advice for many, many things. That is why, in spite of being at the pinnacle of luxury and comfort, they walked the spiritual path and attained realization. Raja Janak, so many stories are there. Maharaja Dashrath also. Oh, remember one thing, the arrangement of dharma, Sanatan Dharma, is not to make us poor at all. No. Sanatan Dharma says earn whatever you want to earn. Be wealthy, it's good for you. But remember one thing, only consider wealth as a means to grow to the next. Wealth cannot be an end goal at all. Don't limit yourself to that. Don't get stuck up with that and end up ruining your life. Wealth is only a means, it's not an end goal at all. At the level of society, also, desires have their own place. Expectations and plans in life also has their place. As now let's see what is that scriptures want to tell us. One thing which may strike our mind is that, as I just mentioned, that is there any place for our desires and our expectations and higher plans in life at all? We have the means, we have the wealth, we have the what do you call that, aura and things in our life, so that we are able to fulfill our duties well. We are able to beautifully fulfill our duties. We have wealth, we have what do you call that, at um, accumulation of wealth, luxury and comfort, so that we are able to do our duty very well. We are able to beautifully fulfill our duties. you know, by way of being means of fulfillment of duties, wealth also is most welcome. Luxury and comfort is also most welcome. If you look from this angle, yes, each one of us must make an effort to become wealthy. Each one of us must have a desire to have luxury and comfort in our life. Not only we should have desire for such things and expectation for some things, for these things, we must work towards these things also. Remember one thing, in our dharma shastra, in our textbook of dharma, there is nothing against such thoughts at all. No, we are not against such things. Our scriptures are not against such thought process at all. But the only thing they guide us is that, how this wealth is earned and what you should do with that wealth, the correct usage of wealth. Remember, using all the wealth for you yourself, me and my family is not the correct way of life at all. And that is what Bhagavan is trying to tell us from this particular verse. If we become wealthy in life, if we have things of luxury and comfort in life, remember one thing, in that will make us capable to serve our parents, our elders, our guru, and our seniors in life. That is what that capability is what will come from this wealth which we earn in our life. Then we have our duty towards the school we studied, the college we studied. We have duty towards our responsibility towards our society we live in, the city we live in, the locality we live in. We have our responsibility towards our nation also. We should use those tools to fulfill our responsibility towards each one of them. And if we have earned wealth, if we have gained wealth in life, if we have comfort and luxury in life, remember, then only we will be able to fulfill these kind of responsibilities. And this is only what Bhagwan has said here as pradayebhya. They only have provided this to you. That means what? uh, these things are welcome in our life as a means to fulfill our responsibilities, our duties towards those who have granted this to us. But if someone desires wealth in life, but not for fulfillment of duty, not for fulfillment of these things, then just think for a moment, what will be the goal of such a person? What will the goal of such a person for of earning wealth in life? What goal will this person have for earning wealth in life? What will be the goal towards which he is going to utilize his wealth? Then his only and only goal will be to drown in enjoyment and of these luxuries and comforts. And in some days, in in few times of enjoyment, and maybe few months, few years of enjoyment, what is going to happen? This person's level of health and level of aura, tej, is going to start going down. He will start losing in his aura and his health if he continuously puts himself into enjoyment only. Then whatever dharma he has earned, and with that dharma, the only thing he'll be able to establish for him is establishing himself in bhoga and completely drowning himself in enjoyment. That is not the correct way of leading life. In our Vedic lifestyle, definitely wealth is welcome. Remember one thing, in Sanatan Dharma, Lakshmi ji is the wife of Bhagwan Vishnu. And all our great saints and rishis have called her Devi only. And remember, without wealth, or without earning things, remember, we cannot take care of anyone in our life, even those who are dependent on us. And we cannot do any activity of dharma without having wealth in our life. As a tool, as a thing which is a supporting thing for us, yes, we must strive, we must have a desire to become wealthy so that we are able to fulfill our duties well. When with the attitude of yajna, things, luxuries and comfort starts to reach us or starts to become available for us, then at that time we should use those things and use those things also and enjoy those things also. We should do both of them. Okay. I told you our scripture is not against enjoyment at all, but our scripture is definitely against enjoyment alone. So our scripture is telling us use them also and enjoy them also. That is the art which our scripture is trying to tell us. You should end up doing both. And it is only telling us not to end up only enjoying, because if you end up only enjoying that, you are definitely bound to ensure that your health and your tejas, your aura starts to go down. Those devatas who has granted us these things which are desired and liked by us as in our life, if they have granted us these things for us, they are definitely for our enjoyment also, but they are also things to be used in our next yajna. Yajna shishta ashinah santah muchyante sarva kilvishay. Those people who, after taking out a portion from what they have gained, and end up consuming or enjoying the remaining portion, when you take out things what you have gained, and for giving it back and utilize the remaining one, the leftover is called as yajna shishta, means leftover from yajna. I'll give you one example for you to understand this better. Those people who do sacrificial fire ceremony yajna, you will see that they offer something called prasada to the havan kund, to the fire. Okay, so they offer a portion of whatever they have, sweets or whatever they cook and things, as a prasada, as a offering to them, as a bhog to the fire, and fire god consumes it. And whoever you offer, fire god is the best courier agent. He goes and gives it directly to those whom you offer to. Is that's how, in our scriptures it's described about, or Agni Devata, fire god. So whatever is left out, now think over it very clearly. Yeah? After offering in the yajna, in the sacrificial fire, whatever is left becomes prasada. Prasada means that is called yajna shishta, means the leftover from yajna. The leftover from yajna in a different word is called prasada. And that prasada is distributed to all those who participate in the sacrificial fire ceremony or yajna. Right? Here Bhagavan is saying, yajna shishta ashinah santah muchyante sarva kilbishahi. Those people who consume whatever is left out after taking out portion for the devatas, and they end up consuming that for their own use, they are, what they are achieving, they are achieving in destruction of all the sins they have committed in life. Sarva kilbishaihi muchyante. They are getting freed from all the sins they have done in their life till now. They are getting freed from all the wrong kind of qualities they have acquired in life till now. Durguna. They are getting free from all the wrong kind of thoughts they have in us, all kind of faults they have in us. They are getting freed from that. That is what that is going to do. Rather than increasing the feeling of enjoyership in them, these things which I mentioned, and on the contrary to that, one way is that we start to enjoy, and we increase the feeling of enjoyment, and we start to get drawn and attached to it. But on the contrary to that, with these feelings, actually we are not only reducing these things, we are also ensuring that our feeling of enjoyership does not increase at all. Rather, our feeling of enjoyership or being attached to enjoyment starts to go down. Inside it, this person, rather than the thought modifications increasing, the vikara increasing, they starts to reduce in such a person. On the contrary to that, there is another kind of a person, which is Bhagwan is explained in the second line of this particular verse, who after getting, he started with yajna bhavana, he gave it to devtas because of whom he got it back also. But after he gets back from the devtas, he forgets about the devtas, or he does not look at them at all. He does not even ask about them. And Bhagwan has in the previous verse called them thief, a social thief. And remember, Bhagwan is using a different word here to explain the gravity of the work this chap is doing. That actually he is not only drowning in enjoyment. He's not only enjoying those things, rather he is eating sin for himself. So he already had some sins in him. Now he is eating sin, means increasing the sin. And Bhagwan is very unhappy with such a person, rather very angry with such a person, such people, and says, Ye pachanti atma karana. They are only, and he's giving a simile of those people are only cooking for themselves. They are only accumulating for themselves. They are only accumulating things for their own enjoyment alone. They only create or manifest things for their own enjoyment. Those people, Bhagwan is calling them social thieves, stenate. And such a selfish life, those people who lead such a selfish life and does not feel any kind of responsibility towards anyone at all, does not does not feel duty towards anyone, and they are not willing to give or share anything to anyone. I'm telling you, they're not even and willing to do anything for anyone, and they don't think they need to give it back at all. Bhagwan is saying, such people are only eating sins. And on the other hand, those people who are also enjoying, like this person, they must also be enjoying. But with only those, what is left after taking out a portion to be given back to deities from whom you have got, for such a person, Bhagwan is saying, Muchante sarva kilbishaihi. Remember, this yajna, spirit of yajna, is not only an advice to a person, rather, this is a sound, this is a request, or this is a law, this is a principle for the whole creation. With one voice, Bhagwan is saying this is the beauty of the creation. If we all end up acting in such a way, remember, we all will ensure that this earth has got enough to give it to everyone. I told you in the last session also, it is said very loud and clear, there is more than enough to fulfill everyone's need in this creation, but there is not enough to fulfill one person's greed. You see the news channel these days about corruption, accumulating this fraud, this scam. Where are they leading themselves? Rather than, why can't they use their skills to productive things? Why can't they develop good things? Why can't they be supportive to the creation? Why can't they be have a thought of developing the creation? If you have a thought of developing and growing in this creation, trust me, with that thought and helping others to grow, you are also ensuring your growth as well. So from that is how we need to understand this particular verse. I'll read Puja Gurudev's commentary on this particular verse, and then we'll see the remaining meaning of this verse in the next session. Puja Gurudev says in his commentary on this verse, as a contrast to such social criminals feeding themselves upon the social wealth, in producing which they have not brought in any self-effort, in this stanza, we have the good who receive for themselves their share after sweating hard in sincere yajna activities. Such people, as explained here, go beyond all sins. Sins of the past are the causes for the present pains, and the present sins would be the causes for the future sorrows. Thus, all causes for the sorrows in social life would no doubt be removed if the good and socially conscious members of a community were to feel satisfied in enjoying the remnants of their cooperative work performed in the true yajna spirit. As a contrast to these, it has been declared that those who cook food for themselves alone eat but sin. It seems that Krishna is perfectly against private property, not in the sense in which a communist would understand it. Krishna seems to be against the principle of arrogation of wealth and of hoarding the same, motivated by lust of lucre, meant mainly for selfish enjoyment, utterly regardless of the privations and poverty of the unfortunate folks around in the community. It is said that such hoarders of wealth eat but sin. That is what Puja Gurudev has to say as a commentary for this particular verse. That much for today. Once again, wishing you all a very, very happy Srimad Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, Mokshada Ekadashi, and Swami Tapovan Jayanti. We'll see you in the next session. We'll see the remaining meaning. We'll see more of the meaning of this particular verse in the next session. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम तत्सत्